everybody, what's up? Thanks for tuning in for another video of mine. Just remember, if you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Twitter on MedSoulBrother. You can also follow me on Instagram on MedSoulBrother. You can also follow me on Facebook on Nurse Soul Brother, and on my YouTube page, obviously on Nurse Soul Brother. Just remember to subscribe, like, share, and hit that notification button. So anyway, reason why I'm doing this video today is I'm doing a video based on a it's kind of a viral story that came out last week. It is about a nurse. He's from California, and he went out to like some like party back in, I think it was in early March, and he went there, came back, and when he came back, he got sick, got tested, apparently became positive for COVID, and then what happened was he ended up going on life support. He was intubated. He came off life support, and what he decided to do was he decided to post a picture of like a before and after shot. So this was a before shot and an after shot, and the after shot was pretty much with him in the like he's in the hospital, in the bathroom, and he's got like a feeding tube and so forth, and you can tell the big difference. Like, I mean, this guy obviously worked out before. He's a big, beefy dude, muscular dude who works out, and the after shot, he looks very thin, drawn out, and so forth. So I'll just show you the pictures that he posted. Like so you guys saw his before and after shot. So just kind of a background story. Yeah, so he's a nurse. He went there. It was some party, I think it's called the Winter Festival, music festival of some sort in Miami. So he went there, and when he got sick, his friends, they started a GoFundMe page, and I think they raised up to, I want to say $5,000, I believe. I forget, but they raised a lot of money for him. I believe it was more than that. Now, what was interesting is when he posted this, I honestly think, in my heart to heart, I honestly think he posted this just, to say, COVID affects everybody. We do have that stigma that COVID only affects the old, the underprivileged, and so forth. But it can affect anybody. I mean, this is a guy who's like 43 years old. He's a nurse. He's healthy. He works out. And he got affected. So he posted this just kind of show his journey. The comments, on the other hand, didn't really support that. I mean, there were people who said, good for you. You did a great job. We wish you, well endeavors and everything like that. But there were some comments on there. I'm telling you, some people were dragging this man, which was quite sad. People were saying, first of all, that, he was on steroids, which is why, why he was thinned out. The feeding tube was fake. There was also, I don't know if you've noticed, and you'll see the pictures that I'll post, is that there was a mark on his neck where he had his trach. People thought that was fake. People went even far to say that the man probably didn't have COVID. He had HIV because apparently he was a gay man, and just really bad, trifling, typical troll comments. I'll show you some of the comments right now. So you guys saw the comments, you saw all that stuff on Twitter. Okay, so I'm just gonna break it down to you, okay? Like I said before, I honestly think the man, this gentleman, posted this to just basically say, hey, I survived through COVID. This is what I went through. I'm a survivor. I'm here to tell my story, okay? A lot of people trying to debunk his whole story. People just saying it's, he did this for clout. He did this for likes, views. People had said, he's a nurse. Why didn't he know better, and so forth. So let me kind of just break things down to you, okay? So first of all, the party that he went to was on, I think it was held between March 4th to March 10th, okay? Now, if we look at the timeline with COVID, especially with happening, what was happening in North America, And I do have my notes here, so sorry if you see me looking down here. So I believe on March 3rd is when, okay, around that time we knew about COVID. We knew about the coronavirus, we knew about COVID. It was very prevalent, in Europe, obviously still in China, but at that point it was really high in Italy and Spain and so forth. In North America, it hadn't touched yet, so we were just kind of like, all right, guys, you guys have it over there. We're cool. We're cool here. As long as you keep that stuff there, we're cool here. I mean, let's keep it. That's how a lot of us thought about it, and we were aware of it, but we didn't really take that much progression to protect ourselves. We just figured, you know what, we'll just use basic within North America. This is excluding Puerto Rico and Hawaii and Alaska, where they found all like every state had a case of COVID. And then it wasn't until I think it was March 28th was when the U.S. just surpassed the amount of cases that they had of people who had COVID. So if you look at those timelines, he went out on that trip or that party, like he flew out to Miami. In the early stages. And you have to remember too, back then, you were still be able to fly. Cruises were still happening, but at that point, cruises were starting to get, people were just kind of like, I don't know about cruises, because now we're starting to see cases on, in cruises and so forth. Restaurants were open. Like everything was still normalized here in North America. It wasn't until March 17th when we started seeing all those cases in all different states. And also we started seeing cases up here in Canada too, where we started to take things seriously. So for people to blame him and say he was a nurse, he should have known better. I don't really agree with that. Just because at that early stage, yes, we nurses knew about it, but again, it didn't affect us at that time. So we didn't really we really didn't have all the precautions and so forth to predict that this was gonna like become a huge pandemic in North America. Okay. A second thing I want to bring up is this whole steroids thing that people thought this man was on steroids, he's lying and so forth. So let me just do a little one-on-one history here, or one-on-one ICU crash course. When you're on life support, okay, so when you're on life support, you're sedated and you're paralyzed, okay? So when you're sedated, you're paralyzed, you are not moving. When you are not moving, okay, your muscles don't move, okay? And when your muscles don't move, they get weak and they start to waste away. That's called atrophy, okay? That's pretty much what it was. I mean, a normal individual, we walk, we're active. When you're just lying in a bed hours upon hours, days upon days, I think this man was in the ICU. I know he's in the hospital for 60 days. I don't know how much of that was in the ICU. I'm going to assume at least 2 weeks. You're not moving and you're paralyzed. So you can't move. The only form of movement happens is when the nurses reposition you every 2 hours. And even then, it's not like they're moving your legs and everything. They're only repositioning you because if you still have that breathing tube down your throat for so long, you're in risk for pneumonia, infections, and so forth. So they don't want to do that. So and to prevent from doing that, they remove it and they put a trach. Okay, so that's the marking. So obviously with the trach, that means he's been in the ICU for like longer than 2 weeks. Okay, so to say that's fake, no. The feeding tube is not fake. Okay, again, when you're in ICU and you're on life support, you do need some form of nutrition. Again, what they normally do is they put it down your nose or your throat, or put it down your nose or your mouth. And then after a couple of weeks, then if you're still needing that, then they switch it to like a G tube. Okay, so that's not fake. It's just, the whole bunch of trolls and so forth that people were saying was just ridiculous. I do want to make an update. I did say his GoFundMe was, I thought it was 5,000. Actually, it was up to $19,000. So his friends and family did all that. But I just kind of just wanted to mention, he did this to kind of show his journey. You know what I'm saying? To show his journey of what he went through, and the fact that people were just dragging him to the filth. Like people said, it was fake. He was on steroids. He had HIV. He was a nurse. He should have known better. Serve him right. Like, all those comments were uncalled for. Okay, like I said before, this man posted his survival journey. He survived a virus, a condition that a lot of people are dying from, and for individuals online to criticize him and blame him for it and say that he deserved it and it was his fault and it's a lie. Now I will say this though, if he had traveled to this party now, even though it's kind of impossible because you really can't travel anywhere, but if he had did that now, knowing full fledged that we're going through so many things right now and there's such a high prevalence of people catching it, then I would be like, okay, you know what, you kind of asked for it. But at that time it was the early stages of. That's all I wanted to say. I just, that was just my opinion about the whole story. I wanted to share that with you, and just to say, this gentleman there was just to, to share his truth, to share his story. And a lot of people thought it was fake, but you know what? Obviously, to me, it was not fake, and I don't think this gentleman should have been blamed. So that's pretty much it. Let me know about your thoughts about this. Do you think he deserved it? I know that sounds stupid, but some people think he did because he was a nurse and he should have known better. What do you think about the before and after shots? What do you think about his survival thing? Do you think it was okay for him to do the before and after shots? Because like I said, some people thought he did it for clout. He did it for likes, views, follows, and all that stuff. And what do you think about the whole COVID again? Like, how do you think how's that affected healthcare workers and even just people in the public? So leave your comments, share, like, subscribe, do all that lovely stuff, and remember, stay safe, and remember to practice social distancing and just use your hand sanitizing, and yeah, that's it. Take care, stay safe.